I mean, it was chaos. They were ransacking supermarkets. Just highlights how fragile the energy system is, especially, and this is the big topic here, especially when it's so swayed towards net zero.
Spain, Portugal and France were hit by those widespread blackouts. The power is being restored. More and more experts are saying it's their obsession, their preoccupation and their reliance on solar power and wind power which has left their grid so vulnerable.
So millions of people were plunged into darkness, flights were grounded, trains were halted, people were left without internet access. Let's go to Ben Leo, who is in Madrid this morning. Ben, how are things there now? Is everything roughly back to normal? What have you been hearing from people there about the effects of yesterday, and what does it tell us about our energy provision?
Yes, hola, buenos dias from Sol Square in Madrid. Talking of wet liberal globalists like Mark Carney, he's also a net zero zealot, isn't he? He's all for net zero and decarbonising the grid. And the big topic of conversation this morning here in Spain and the Iberian Peninsula is what caused this massive blackout yesterday. It caused all sorts of chaos. And you want to talk about net zero, what happens when the lights go out? You can't charge your electric vehicle, can you? You can't pay for food and drink at the supermarkets. It all falls to the ground. And people here yesterday, I mean, it was chaos. They were ransacking supermarkets. It reminded me of COVID 4 or 5 years ago, packing their supermarket trolleys with toilet paper for some reason, prioritising that above anything else. Trains stranded in the middle of nowhere. I think there's still one train stranded in the countryside here in Spain with hundreds of passengers still needing to be rescued. And it just goes to show, it just highlights how fragile the energy system is, especially, and this is the big topic here, especially when it's so swayed towards net zero. Because Bev, Andrew and viewers, 20 years ago here in Spain, the electricity grid was fuelled mostly by fossil fuels. Renewables such as hydro, wind and solar accounted for just 5% of the contribution to the grid. 2 weeks ago, what did they do here? The government celebrated, they tweeted about it. They went 100% renewable 2 weeks ago tomorrow. They were boasting about how solar was providing most of that, 80%. And energy experts this morning, I mean, the reason for the blackout hasn't yet been concluded, but the narrative is now switching towards a suggestion that because they were so reliant on solar yesterday, and indeed in the previous weeks, that it wasn't a durable, sustainable way to back up the system. There's something called inertia, which traditional energy systems have thanks to fossil fuels. But when you rely on solar, you don't get that inertia. So when there's power cuts, when there's short circuits, the system can't back itself up. And that is the narrative doing the rounds today. On the front of the newspapers here, this is El Mundo, one of the biggest Spanish newspapers. Excuse my accent, I'll probably butcher this. El gran apagón desconecta a España, Spain in blackout. And I just wonder, Bev and Andrew, in the wake of this net zero, or alleged net zero chaos here, is the likes of Ed Miliband watching closely? What will he be thinking this morning? And will Britain, in the net zero dystopian future, leave us feeling a little bit like this woman on the back of the paper?
All right, thank you, Ben. Brilliant. Ben Leo there in Madrid. So could we see these types of blackouts here in Britain? We're joined by the head of policy at the Global Warming Policy Foundation, Harry Wilkinson. Good morning, Harry. Is this all because of the unreliable nature of renewable energy?
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, it's a hugely worrying sign. That woman was right to look exasperated. This, 1 or 2 days of blackouts in the Iberian Peninsula will cause billions of damage. Normal life won't be able to continue for people there. This is incredibly disruptive. And those kind of weather conditions should be predictable by the people who manage the grid there. But unfortunately, they're relying on a system, as Ben described, that doesn't have that system inertia, which is so important. The grid has to be maintained at a constant frequency and can only diverge from that by the smallest amounts. And fossil fuel power stations and nuclear power stations have spinning turbines that can be synchronized with each other to maintain that system inertia. And of course, wind and solar power can't do that. And that means you have to invest in a lot of technology and actually have infrastructure that creates that inertia for you. So that's incredibly expensive for one, but it's also incredibly challenging the more that you rely on renewables. So this could be a picture of the future if we continue down the road that Miliband is pushing us on.
Okay.
Harry, we're going to have to lose you because we've got a bit of a signal problem. But thank you. That's Harry Wilkinson, who's the head of policy at the Global Warming Policy Foundation. In January, we came within an ace of what happened in Spain and Portugal. For 2 minutes, it looked like we were going to have a major power outage, and we got away by the skin of our teeth. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Well, I'm already prepped. Here's the irony, is that before the pandemic, all those people that were buying toilet rolls, I was not one of them. Since the pandemic, people like me, the proud conspiracy theorists, we've now got our battery charging packs. I've got solar battery charging packs at home. We preppers, we're all ready.
It's called the grab bag, isn't it?
I'll send you some links.
It's called the grab bag. It's called the grab bag. They tell you should have a radio with batteries.
Battery-powered radio, so you know what's going on.
A battery-powered torch, because this could happen in the winter.
I've got friends who've got generators and gun licences now, Andrew Pierce. I could tell you stuff that would
gun licences?
turn your hair white.
What
I'm not joking.
What, in case they think there's going to be...
When the Civil War kicks off, some of us are going to be ready. You can come round to my house, don't worry, I'll have everything ready for you.
Blimey.